For 10 years straight, she was the most popular author, and she was also my wife. Her newest book, Night Sky, was a massive success, and after that, she said she was done writing. At the event where she signed books, she held the microphone close and her eyes filled with tears. She said, "This book is for my lost youth, which I'll always remember." Everyone online was touched by her deep feelings, and many fans cried. But I was in a fancy restaurant, one I booked half a year earlier, ripping up the movie deal she'd always wanted. I replaced it with papers for a divorce. Then I left in a fancy car and headed overseas, while she went crazy trying to find me. When Catherine came back home, I had just finished selling my business shares. She took off her fancy shoes and asked, "Why is it so dark in here?" "I don't want the lights on," I said, not very nicely. Catherine looked confused but didn't complain. But when she got to the kitchen and saw there was no food like there normally was, she got angry and pointed at the empty stove. "Robert, what's your problem? Today is 7 years since we got married. You didn't even cook?" "Why would I cook?" I asked. Maybe my strange behavior made Catherine snap. She threw her bag at me and it hit my face. "Robert, are you being difficult? I was just a bit late." "I told you, today was the day I signed my new book, and it was the last time I'd meet my fans before I stopped writing." "Are you saying I should have left all those fans just to eat with you? Does that make sense?" No, it didn't. But to her, it seemed okay to say how much she loved Leo on this special day. I sat on the couch feeling like a complete idiot. I blurted out, "Catherine, I want to end our marriage." And I went to the bedroom. I heard the water running in the shower. I cleaned my face. An hour before, I was at that restaurant I booked 6 months ago, waiting for Catherine to show up. Today was our 7th anniversary. Catherine had said she had a surprise for me. I also had the movie contract for her new book, something she'd wanted for so long. I kept picturing how happy she'd be. Right before the book signing, Catherine sent me a message. "My love, I'm a little tied up today. Wait for me, please." I felt a rush of warmth and told her to take her time. I opened the live video of the signing. Catherine was there, in a white dress, holding the microphone with tears in her eyes, and she started to talk, her voice shaky. "Thank you all for being here. Night Sky is based on a true story about the pure love between me and my first love, Leo. This book has all my young, sweet memories, and I've decided I won't write anymore after this." I just stood there, frozen, as loud clapping filled the live video. Many fans ran up, asking Catherine what happened with her and Leo. I held my breath, waiting. Then she spoke again, her eyes red. "He left me when I was 18. I've missed him every day since. My heart broke into pieces. I don't even remember how I got home. If Leo was her real love, what was I? What did 7 years of being married even mean?" After I showered, I started packing my suitcase. I didn't notice when, but Catherine was suddenly in the bedroom. She saw what I was doing, and for the first time, I saw a little fear in her eyes, which were usually so calm. She took my hand and said, "Honey, I know you're mad about today." I stopped for a second, and my hands froze. Catherine kept talking, shaking my arm and acting cute. "I was late for our anniversary, and it's my fault. I even have a signed copy of Night Sky for you. Aren't you excited?" I looked at the book in Catherine's hands with Night Sky on the front, and I just felt like she was making fun of me. On our anniversary, she was thinking about her first love, who was gone. And now she wanted me to be part of it too? I pushed the book away, saying coldly, "You can keep that book to remember Leo. I don't want it." Catherine's face went white. She tried to speak, but I had already picked up my suitcase and was heading for the door. Seeing how determined I was, Catherine got angry. "Robert, are you serious? Leo died so long ago. Do you really have to fight with me every day about someone who's dead?" No, I didn't, but I knew that to Catherine, Leo wasn't just someone who had died a long time ago. His ways, the things he liked, every word he said, every look he gave, they were always there, in our lives. After 7 years, I thought I had finally won Catherine's heart. But I never guessed that deep down, the person she still wanted was Leo. Since I was always the outsider in this 3-person relationship, I decided I would leave. Catherine was also mad because I was quiet. She threw our wedding picture from upstairs, and it landed at my feet, like she was letting out her anger. Okay, go. If you leave, don't ever return. Tomorrow we'll go to the office and get a divorce. I walked alone on the empty street, pulling my suitcase. I couldn't help but remember the past, with Catherine, Leo, and me. I knew Catherine had a first love who had died. Leo was a huge part of her life, almost from the very beginning. They went to school together, painted in art rooms together, and told each other their deepest secrets. Until Catherine's 18th birthday, when Leo missed her party because of an important art contest. That day, Catherine and Leo had a big fight. She even said that if he didn't come back in time, they were over. Trying to get back quickly, Leo took a chance and crossed the train tracks, but a train that came early hit him. The fast train left no sign of Leo's body. Catherine was heartbroken. She even tried to end her life by lying on the tracks. When Catherine's parents took her to the hospital, I was working there, learning about mental health. To help Catherine, I spent almost all my time at the hospital. Finally, Catherine started to open up, and we started to like each other in a way that was more than just doctor and patient. When Catherine gave me her short story, looking shy, and told me she loved me, I wasn't sure, but love was stronger than my doubts, and I said yes. Catherine wanted to be in the movie business. She always wanted her stories to be on the big screen. For Catherine, I gave up my dream of being a doctor and put money into a movie company. I always thought my relationship with Catherine was strong, but today, I realized how silly I was. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was my godmother calling. Robert, did you really sell the movie company? That was your dream. I told you to sell it and come live with us overseas, but you said no. Why now, suddenly? If I want to sell, I sell, I said, cutting off my godmother. Godmother, I want to live overseas. There was a short pause on the phone, and then she sounded very happy. Robert, you finally understand. That's great. When are you coming? I'll be going back to our home country next month. How about tomorrow? I'll get the plane ticket. After getting my ticket, I stayed at a hotel nearby for the night. Catherine didn't call. Instead, she wrote something on social media. I looked at it. She was at the school Leo used to go to. She took a picture with Leo's teacher and wrote, "The best teacher ever." In the picture, there was a big painting of the land hanging on the wall. I knew it right away. It was Leo's last painting. Not only did she say she loved Leo on our anniversary, but after our fight, she was just casually visiting Leo's old teacher. Even though I knew I meant nothing to Catherine, seeing that post still made me sneer. Something inside me broke. I threw my phone away and put my head in the pillow, falling into a deep sleep. I woke up to my phone ringing like crazy. It was Catherine's best friend. Robert, Catherine's had too much to drink. Can you get her? I said no right away. I'm not coming. Catherine's friend freaked out. Robert, what kind of person are you? Do you even know that Catherine sold the rights to Night Sky for cheap so your company could do well? Yes, she said those things to the media, but she did it to sell it quickly. Catherine has done so much for you, and you're treating her like this. I'm really sad for her. I was shocked. Catherine sold the rights to Night Sky for a low price to help my company? How did I not know? Then I remembered the movie deal I had ready for Catherine that day, and it all seemed so silly. You can believe whatever you want. Anyway, Catherine and I are over. I hung up, but after thinking, I felt like I should at least explain things to Catherine. I got a taxi to the bar Catherine's friend told me about. Sure enough, Catherine was passed out in a booth, very drunk. As soon as she saw me, her eyes got red and she hugged me, saying, "Honey, you're here at last." Catherine cuddled up to me like a baby cat. Her loving actions and needy words made it hard for me to let go. I couldn't help but think maybe it was all a mistake. But then, Catherine put her arms around my neck, and tears started falling on my clothes. "Leo, you're finally here. I thought you were mad at me and wouldn't come back. I got all your paintings from the teacher, and I've got the money for your art show. You won't have to worry about no one seeing your art anymore. I'm going to put your paintings everywhere in the city. I want everyone to know that Leo is the best artist." My body went stiff, and when I reached out to touch Catherine, my hand just fell, because I couldn't paint. The one who loved painting was Leo. I still carried Catherine back to our house. Like always, I helped her take off her jacket and shoes, then gently cleaned her face with a cloth. When I went to take off her bra, Catherine, who had been half awake, suddenly woke up. She looked at me, scared, and said, "What are you doing?" "I'm telling you, I'm Leo's girl and I won't be with you. If you come any closer, I'll call for help." My hand stopped in the air, but then Catherine suddenly fell back onto the bed fast asleep. It hit me that everything just now was just her talking because she was drunk. But what no one knew was that even after 7 years of being married to Catherine, I had never been intimate with her, not even a little, because she always said she wasn't ready. But now it was obvious. She wasn't just not ready. She had someone else in her heart, and that was why she couldn't let anyone else in. Looking at Catherine's calm, sleeping face and hearing her say Leo's name quietly, I knew it was time for me to go. I took out the divorce papers I had printed a while ago, put them on the nightstand where she would see them, and quietly closed the door behind me as I left. But while waiting at the airport, I still saw the big news story that everyone was talking about. Famous writer has art show for dead boyfriend, 8 years of love still strong. The bright headline felt like someone had slapped me, but I didn't feel anything. I just took out my phone card and threw it away. Even before I threw the card away, I saw that Catherine had tried to call. By the time the sun started to rise, I was already in another country. My aunt and her family came to get me from the airport. Everyone gave me a big hug when they saw me. "Robert, welcome back." My aunt's daughter, Sarah, kept making fun of me. "Robert, didn't you say you wanted to be a famous movie maker? What happened? We haven't seen your first movie and you're already back. Where's your wife?" Sarah looked around behind me, and I felt a little awkward. My aunt poked Sarah with her elbow and then gave me a warm hug, saying, "Robert, welcome home." For the next few days, my aunt made sure Sarah stayed with me, taking me out to eat, drink, and have fun, always worried that I might be sad. Sometimes Sarah would ask why I came overseas, but I stayed quiet. It wasn't until our weekend dinner that my aunt got a call from Catherine. After hesitating for a moment, she asked if I wanted to talk to her. I said no, but Catherine's voice suddenly came from the phone's speaker. "Robert, I know you can hear me. I have something very important to say. Can you please talk to me?" I took the call, not really wanting to. Catherine, her eyes red, asked me, "Robert, why did you leave without saying anything?" Her question made me speechless, and after a moment of silence, I reminded Catherine, "We're ending our marriage." Catherine immediately shook her head, like a little kid. "No, I don't agree. We can't get divorced." I stayed quiet, but Catherine seemed worried on the other end of the phone. "Robert, did you hear something?" "Those are all not true. It's just the news people making things up. Please listen to me and let me explain." There was nothing to explain. Some things were already decided, and no matter how much I tried to fool myself, I couldn't hide it anymore. I calmly told Catherine, "The divorce papers are on the nightstand. Sign them and tell me when you're done." Without waiting for her to say anything, I ended the call. I gave the phone back to my aunt and saw news about Catherine and Leo everywhere. How funny that she could explain things to me while still talking about how much she loved someone else. There was no pain in my heart. I thought to myself that I must have gotten used to her lies. As I thought, Sarah finally figured out what was happening between me and Catherine. After the family dinner, she asked if I wanted to work at her company. I said no, I wasn't interested. I wasn't the kind of person with big dreams. The reason I started that movie company was all because of Catherine. Now that I was away from her, I didn't want to do anything else. Sarah's eyes, though, flashed with a playful look. "Next month, there's the World Modeling Contest, and our company has a spot. Are you sure you don't want to join?" My eyes lit up. I had always loved models, so much that I lost track of time when I was doing it. I had won many awards in college. Years ago, when my aunt asked me to come overseas, it was because the modeling clubs there were starting to grow, and she thought I could do great things in that area. But for Catherine's sake, I had given up on my dream and spent all my time being with her. In the end, all I got was her deep betrayal. Now, this special chance was right in front of me, and I didn't want to miss it. I said yes to Sarah's offer right away. After years of not working with models, I thought I'd be bad at it, but surprisingly, my body still remembered. After just a little practice, I was able to get back into the swing of it. There were people who doubted me, but Sarah stopped them all. She said, "Robert has been doing this for many years. I trust him. Soon, the day of the contest came. In the waiting room, I took deep breaths, trying to calm down, and Sarah, with her hands in fists, gave me my favorite drink. Good luck, Robert. You can do it. With her cheering me on, I stepped onto the stage I hadn't been on in 10 years. And then, I won the top prize. Loud clapping filled the place, and everyone came up to me. Even Sarah's eyes were filled with tears. Among the happy shouts, I saw someone I knew. It was Catherine. When she saw that I had won, she ran to the stage right away, wanting to hug me. I moved out of the way. This made Catherine feel bad, but soon she calmed down, a bright smile on her face as she congratulated me. Robert, congratulations on winning. Thank you, I said, not showing much emotion. After thanking her, I turned to leave, but Catherine stopped me and quietly asked, Robert, when are you coming back with me? Come back? I had never thought about that. But seeing the hope in Catherine's eyes, I still found it a little funny. I'm not coming back, I said. I've already told you I want to end our marriage. Catherine got worried. Robert, I know you're mad, but haven't you been mad for long enough? Even if you're unhappy with me, surely that anger is gone by now, right? Come on, let's go back. Let's go back to how things were, just like before. A tantrum? So all my sadness and disappointment were just a tantrum to Catherine. I suddenly found it so silly, and I pulled away from Catherine's hand, saying each word clearly. I'm not having a tantrum. I'm serious. Since you can't forget Leo so easily, I'll leave. From now on, you can remember him freely, without anyone bothering you. But Catherine wouldn't let go of my hand. Under the bright lights, someone knew who she was and started taking pictures like crazy. The microphone was pushed in front of her. Catherine, are you the writer of Night Sky? Didn't you say before that you were going to stop writing to remember your dead lover? Who is this man? Do you have a new boyfriend? What does Leo mean to you? One question after another came like thunderbolts, and Catherine couldn't answer any of them. Seeing her face get red, I suddenly thought everything was so ironic. I let out a cold laugh and walked off the stage by myself. But these reporters were more determined than I thought. When they couldn't get answers from Catherine, they shoved the microphone in my face, asking questions that were very harsh. Mr. Robert, are you the reason Catherine and Leo's relationship ended? Why are you breaking them up? Fighting for the love of someone who's dead? Don't you feel bad? I looked at Catherine beside me, her lips pressed tightly together, not saying a word to explain. She let the mean comments drown me. Finally, it was Sarah, who couldn't take it anymore, who pushed through the people to stand by me and block all the mean-spirited questions. What are you all talking about? Robert and Catherine are married legally. They've been married for 7 years. As for that Leo, I've never heard of him. Even if there was someone interfering, it would be him. Sarah's words immediately changed the focus, and everyone looked at Catherine. With everyone watching, Catherine couldn't lie anymore and had to admit we were married. Not only that, but she also took the chance to ask me with tears in her eyes. Robert, I did all of this to make Leo's last wish come true. Now that his wish has come true, will you come back with me? No, I said firmly. Sign the divorce papers soon. I don't want to go to court. I walked away quickly, leaving Catherine behind, calling my name desperately, but her voice was lost in the reporter's chatter. Both Catherine and I were in the news. I don't know who made it their job, but they revealed everything about the years we spent together, including when Catherine had tried to end her life and how I had stayed with her, helping her get better. Looking at all the discussions online, I felt a little lost. I had done so much for Catherine, but it didn't matter anymore. Now that I had decided to move on, how much I had done didn't mean anything. As for Catherine, with the media asking so many questions, she was running around, completely stressed. But no matter what people said, Catherine still refused to end our marriage. She even said publicly that it was all a mistake and that we wouldn't separate. I thought it was funny and didn't want to waste any more time on it. I filed for divorce right away, but I didn't expect her to show up at my house. To celebrate my win, Sarah threw several parties in a row. After a few days of drinking, I felt dizzy. The next morning, I wanted to go out for some soy milk, but before I could leave, I saw Catherine standing at the gate of the neighborhood, holding a big bunch of flowers. The cold winter wind made her nose red. Catherine stood there, breathing out air and tapping her feet, sometimes fixing the flowers in her arms. When she saw me, her face lit up, and she ran over. "Robert, I've finally found you." "Why are you looking for me?" I asked her. I know I was wrong. The art show is finished. "Robert, can we go home?" Catherine's voice had a carefulness I had never heard before, a tone I never thought I'd hear in the past. We had argued about Leo before, but every time I had been the one to say sorry. I had once hoped that Leo, who stood between us, would disappear, that one day I could be special in Catherine's heart. But when that day really came, I realized I didn't need it anymore. Ignoring everything she said, I asked her, "When will you sign the papers to end our marriage?" Hearing this, Catherine's face went pale, and she looked at me with a pleading expression. "Robert, do we always have to talk about these things that hurt when we see each other? Hurtful?" I didn't think so. Compared to the hurtful things Catherine had said to me over the years for Leo, this question was nothing. Besides, hadn't this always been what Catherine wanted? To be known openly as someone who loved Leo. Not wanting to say more, I made everything clear. "You don't have to sign, but I've already started the divorce process. The court date is next week. Make sure you're there." Catherine's face turned pale. She grabbed my sleeve, her face turning white. "Robert, can we really never be together again?" "I brought you something. Your favorite jasmine flowers." Catherine handed me the flowers. But before the flowers could even get close, Sarah, who had come out, grabbed them and threw them in the garbage. "Is Robert allergic to flowers? Are you trying to hurt him?" Catherine tried to say something, but my face started swelling up quickly because of the allergy. With no time to say anything, Sarah drove me to the hospital right away. The quick allergic reaction made me pass out. The doctor said I needed someone to give me blood. But my blood type was rare, and the hospital didn't have any that matched. Even if they tried to get some from the closest place, it would be too late. Everyone was worried, but Catherine, who was always scared of pain, stepped up. She rolled up her sleeve and offered to give me blood. When I woke up, Catherine's face was very pale, but she still managed to give me a weak smile and said, "You're awake, Robert. I'm so happy you're okay." I saw the mark on her arm from the needle and felt a strange feeling. I knew how much Catherine hated pain. She was so scared of it that she wouldn't even get a checkup. But to think that this same Catherine, who was so scared of pain, would cut herself for Leo. Suddenly, my uneasy heart calmed. I looked at Catherine and said, "Thank you." A happy smile spread across Catherine's face. "Robert, I'm so glad to give blood for you. I've also gotten a special room for you." But before she could finish, I turned to Sarah and said, "How much is a little bit of blood? Pay her 3 times what it usually costs." The joy on Catherine's face disappeared, replaced by deep sadness. "Robert, I didn't give blood for money." "I know, but Catherine, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Not even a little." I saw Catherine's face turn pale, and she looked like she wanted to say something, but my body was reacting badly. The doctor, seeing this, frowned. "The patient is just starting to get better. He can't be upset. Are you trying to make him worse with your words?" "I'm not. I just want to talk to him." Catherine tried to explain, but the doctor had her taken out of the room. For the next few days, she wasn't allowed to see me at all. Catherine still stayed outside my hospital room. Every day, she brought me different kinds of healthy meals, but I didn't even look at them. Sarah kept her outside. The reason was simple. Most of the food Catherine brought was something I couldn't eat. There were even some things that were on my list of things I was allergic to. Sometimes, even Sarah would ask, confused, "Robert, you two were really together for 7 years? How come I feel like Catherine doesn't know you as well as I do?" You clearly can't eat seafood or nuts, but she brought several dishes with those. Even after I told her, the next time she brings food, it's the same food you're allergic to. Does she want to help you or does she want to hurt you? I just smiled. I believe Catherine really wanted to take care of me. After all, we had been together for 7 years and she had never cooked. Now she was making a new, healthy meal for me every day. But it was also true that after 7 years, she knew nothing about me. How else could I explain that Sarah, who barely spent time with me, knew my allergies, while Catherine, who lived with me every day, knew nothing? I thought back to the past, when every year, on Leo's anniversary, Catherine would carefully prepare things, reminding the store many times what could and couldn't be included. Once, the store was too busy and forgot her instructions, and she got very angry, complaining about them right away. Love and not caring were so obvious. But it didn't matter anymore, because I didn't love her anymore. What did it matter if Catherine remembered my allergies or treated me well? The court date came fast. I hadn't left the hospital, so Sarah went for me. In court, Catherine insisted that our problems were all misunderstandings. She showed many things I had done for her as proof that we loved each other. Sarah scoffed and simply showed an interview Catherine had done before she stopped writing, which was enough to prove that our relationship had ended a long time ago. Not to mention the art show she had organized for Leo and the fact that she let people say bad things about me, calling me the reason her and Leo's relationship ended, without explaining anything. In the end, the judge decided we should divorce. The moment I got the divorce paper, Catherine fainted. Because she was being kind, Sarah called for help for her and then walked away, not looking back. After the divorce, I got better quickly. In less than a week, I left the hospital. Sarah hired me at her company, making me the main person in big competitions. She even gave me half of the company's shares. I felt uncomfortable about it, but Sarah looked at me with a big smile. "What's wrong? Without you, this company wouldn't even exist. Take it. If you're unhappy, it means you don't care about me." I had no choice but to accept, telling her I would keep the shares for now, and when she got married, I would give them to her as a wedding gift. But Sarah wasn't happy. She mumbled, "Who wants to get married? I don't want to get married. If I do, it has to be to—" Her words were lost in the wind, but I understood Sarah's feelings. Still, after my last relationship, I had been so hurt by Catherine that I needed time to heal. I also needed to clear some space in my heart so that someone better could come in. In the following days, Sarah and I didn't talk about love. I focused completely on the competitions, winning one big award after another. Along the way, I even broke several world records. In every competition, Sarah was by my side. Her pockets seemed magical, always pulling out things I loved. Through our hard work together, the small club we once started had grown into a big company. Our names, mine and Sarah's, were printed on all kinds of ads, and we became famous around the world. Another year's world championship came, and I broke my own record, finishing first. On the stage, I saw someone I knew in the audience. It was Catherine. For more than a year, she had come to almost every one of my competitions. She even helped me understand my strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of my competitors. Before this, Catherine had shown no interest in model design. She had even made fun of my hobbies, saying to my face that only people like Leo, who used a paintbrush to show their love for the world, understood what art was. What I did was nothing more than playing around. Now she had picked up her pen, which she had held for many years, and was writing down different strategies for me. Yet, all I felt was annoyed. I didn't even look at the thick stacks of notes. I put them all in the trash. Eventually, I even told the people working with me, "Don't bring me things like that again. If you get them, just throw them away." Suddenly, a reporter's question interrupted my thoughts. "Mr. Robert, your design this time is called Home, and it is said to be made for your loved one. Can you tell us who your lover is?" Catherine sat up straight in the audience, and I could see the hope in her eyes. She even nervously tugged at her clothes. But I didn't even look at her. I took Sarah's hand and answered the reporter's question confidently. "Of course. Home is a design I created for my beloved, Miss Sarah. She's been by my side all year, and I'd like to take this chance to tell her how I feel." In front of the whole world, I got down on one knee, took out the ring I had prepared in my pocket, and asked Sarah, "Sarah, will you marry me?" Sarah's face lit up with surprise. She covered her mouth, tears in her eyes, and nodded yes. The applause was very loud, and we kissed as if the whole world was just the two of us. The crowd was blurry, and I saw Catherine's face lose all color. Something in her hand seemed to fall, But I didn't pay attention because I had already taken Sarah's hand and was walking toward the stage, where we would share the happiness of being #1 in the world. By the time the ceremony ended, Catherine had disappeared. However, the cleaning staff found a book that hadn't been published. On the front page, it said, "To the person I love most." When I saw the name Robert in the title, I thought it was silly. Sarah came up from behind and asked if I'd seen anything. Nothing. By the way, where do you want to have the wedding? So soon? I haven't decided yet. How about an island? Sarah blushed and looked shy, and I nodded, taking her hand as we got into the car. Outside, a familiar figure peeked out, like a mouse spying on the happiness between Sarah and me. But this time, I didn't look back.